Hello, I'm Loxton. I overanalyze and explain Pokemon lore, design, etymology, origins, etc., and I have once again worked with TerminalMontage to create another Pokemon Battle Royale, this time with Ultra Beasts, which some say are not Pokemon, but they're wrong. Ultra Beasts are Pokemon. They are just Pokemon from Ultra Space, which is like regular space, except more so alternate dimensions, rather than just being from light years away like Deoxys, which is an alien proper. And actually, for more detailed explanations on the origins of the individual Ultra Beasts, like what they're based on and such, check out the videos around this one. That's what we've been doing on the channel lately. But hey, it's Royale time. Let's get going. The battle takes place in Alola, because obviously, and we begin with a Space Odyssey reference. We tried putting in as many sci-fi movie tropes and references as we could in this, hence Poipole forming a crater and laughing like Stitch from Lilo and Stitch, except it sounds like Yoshi because it's cute. Oh yeah, and they're coming out of Beast Balls, because that's what you catch Ultra Beasts in. They have a much higher catch rate for Ultra Beasts than regular Pokeballs. Spontaneous cut to the anime! Did you know that this is what Guzzlord sounds like in the Pokemon anime? My god. So this is what it sounds like here. Xurkitree is Groot because tree, and it heads for the power plant immediately, as according to its Pokedex entries and the anime, that's just what it do. It raids power plants to steal power. Buzzwole and Pheramosa are together, because they very much often are. They are the same type after all, are exclusive to each version of the game, and in the trading card game have an unbroken bond. And when it comes to these battle royales, we always consider all sources. And besides, Pheramosa is known to use its pheromones to persuade and control those around it. She's the boss here. Hey look, it's an alien abducting a cow trope. Transformers are aliens too. And according to the Pokédex, Kartana's swords are capable of cutting anything. It was observed cutting down a gigantic steel tower with one stroke of its blade, so it easily chops trees. But here's a fun fact. We know Nihilego likes latching on to other people and Pokemon, sort of like a brain-sucking alien or a head crab. And yet, when it latches onto Naganadel, it doesn't work. Naganadel beats it off easily. Why? Well, because, fun fact, Naganadel's brain is not in its head, it's in its butt, which becomes more obvious when you remember it evolves from Poipole, and Poipole's head becomes Naganadel's stinger. Look, it's just Poipole upside down. But speaking of Poipole, it's a playful little guy. Here it is messing with Stakataka, who doesn't want to be touched, and is able to move its bricks freely to avoid that. Stakataka also doesn't like others being on top of it, so it traps Poipole inside of it after it sits, giving us a triple reference to the trash compactor Star Wars scene, Doctor Who Dalek screams, and the iconic alien mouth bit. However, after crushing Poipole, it cannot move. Why? Well, Poipole and Naganadel are, in short, super glue alien bees, and also a dragon. They shoot and are thus filled with incredibly sticky glue. Now helpless, Stakataka is eaten by Guzzlord, who is known to voraciously munch on buildings or anything it can get its big meaty claws on. In the anime, Xurkitree and Blacephalon have a bit of a rivalry. They both put on light shows after all. Xurkitree lights up and references Close Encounters aliens, and this huge light show distracts the bugs because bugs love lamps, but this leaves Pheramosa open to a Nihilego attack, which of course then turns into a Lusamine reference. After all, Lusamine bases herself on the style of Pheramosa, but still, Nihilego is no match for Buzzwole's strength, heroism, and concern for their friend. However, according to the Pokédex, Pheramosa hates being touched more than anything, so it runs with its overwhelming speed, forming an alien crop circle in the process. Buzzwole drinks some protein to become a jerk, but then the arms pop, turning it into Small Might before being defeated. Spontaneous Celesteela fun fact. Celesteela is a bamboo rocket ship, and according to the Pokédex, witnesses have seen it burn down a forest by expelling gas from its two arms. However, it's also been seen lifting off without damaging any plants at all, so I guess it's a choice thing. Either way, it wants to go to space. It's a space rocket, space core, of course. It begins lifting off, and the destructive blast is approaching the power plant, so Blacephalon hides in a storm drain as it's partially inspired by Pennywise the alien clown. But Xurkitree is plugged into both the power plant and the ground, as it do, absorbing energy from the earth itself, so it's unable to escape. Being bamboo makes Celesteela the perfect target for Kartana, whose name partially pulls from katana, the samurai sword, hence also its origami samurai-like appearance. Samurai famously trained their sword slices on bamboo targets, so really, Kartana has no choice but to aim for Celesteela now that it's visible. But what's it saying? Well, in the anime, Kartana is actually fully capable of human speech, but only in reverse.
Worthless object, again I cut!
So it does so here, with Sam's lines from Metal Gear Rising.
Mind if I got in?
It slices through Celesteela with ease, who careens into space Among Us style and crashes into the moon. Nihilego is now cracked, as its body is like glass, and it's tempted over by Blacephalon, Pennywise style. After all, Nihilego's Pokedex entries mentions that it acts a bit like a little girl. Pennywise likes little children, and so does Blacephalon according to its lore. Nihilego tries to latch onto its head, but meets its demise in the process. You see, Blacephalon is able to explode its own head and regrow it rapidly, as seen here, and being popped like a balloon by Naganadel's stinger, though perhaps its shoulders being superglued shut would prevent that, and after all, Naganadel hates its stingers being touched, and Blacephalon just smacked it! So it turns Blacephalon into Guzzlord food. Appreciating the easy meal, Guzzlord and Naganadel team up. Why? Well, the tag team gimmick in the Pokemon card game at the time, of course. Naganadel and Guzzlord have an unbreakable bond, two alien dragon abominations being bros. Meanwhile, the very clean Kartana the samurai falls for the pheromone-enhanced beauty of Pheramosa, and they team up for the final showdown, 2v2. But all it takes to reduce Pheramosa's most powerful trait, its speed, to nothing, is a single superglue shot. Kartana tries to help the only way it can. It has swords for arms. This is all it knows. Alas, it too is then grabbed by Guzzlord, but Kartana can cut through anything, remember. Guzzlord also supposedly has a black hole-like inside. It eats and eats and eats and never leaves droppings. And it uses this to suck up Kartana, and also Naganadel accidentally. But again, Kartana can cut through anything. Final showdown time, ranged superglue versus tiny paper sword. Kartana is a very small target. In fact, it's tied with some others as the third smallest Pokemon, and it's tied for first as the lightest. But then, according to its official description, Naganadel can easily hit a target with its glue shot from over 6 miles away. So it of course gets a few hits in on Kartana, who still manages to reach Naganadel for a slice, but it has taken enough damage that it doesn't survive the recoil. The winner is Naganadel, but only barely. So why? And what else did we consider? Well, first off, it should be noted that in the lore, Guzzlord is the big bad Ultra Beast, the most devastatingly destructive, the most powerful of all, so it needed to last late into the battle, but not win, because, funnily enough, it is one of the worst competitively. There's a huge gap between lore and gameplay mechanics here, and we're of course considering everything. Like, the reason Poipole was the first fatality is easy. It is the weakest by a long shot, in every sense of the word. I mean, it's the only unevolved one, and when it evolves, Naganadel actually has the lowest stat total of all of the Ultra Beasts, only 540, compared to every other Ultra Beast who has 570. Well, why did it win then? Well, because stat total isn't everything. Naganadel's stat distribution, along with the moves it learns, puts it near or at the top of every tier list in the online competitive scene, compared to other Ultra Beasts, of course. In fact, it and Pheramosa are both in Uber tier in Smogon, hence also Pheramosa lasting so long. Then also, more recently, while still rare, Kartana is the only Ultra Beast that lasted quite a while in VGC. It's very competitive and strong against physical sweepers, you see. Hence, it's also surviving until the very end. But there are lore reasons here too. Being able to supposedly cut through anything makes Kartana a very strong contender right away. But the accuracy of Naganadel cannot be matched. And honestly, in an animated setting like this, superglue attacks are very powerful. Being able to attach anything to anything or stop motion altogether is almost an instant win strategy, especially when paired with being able to fly, which is a huge advantage in a battle royale setting. Oh, you're fast? Blam, with my perfectly accurate shot, now you can't move at all. Oh, you're a bunch of agile bricks? Blam, now you're solid and immobile. Oh, you can regenerate your weapon head from the hole in your shoulders. Blam, now it's sealed. Heck, if it wanted to, it could probably superglue Guzzlord's mouth shut. Now what's it gonna do? It didn't need to though, because they are friends. And being friends with the lore-wise most powerful and deadly Ultra Beast? Yeah, that's a pretty big advantage in a battle royale too. And then consider the trading card game back when these guys were relevant. One of the 4 championship decks from 2018 uses Kartana GX to pretty decent effect, and in 2019, one of the 4 uses Naganadel, but another is based around it and Blacephalon. It uses 5 whole Naganadel. And so, no matter how you slice it, Naganadel is near or even at the top of the tier list in every Ultra Beast category. So cool and powerful that even Ash got one in the anime. And that's why it wins this Battle Royale. But what the heck is it based on? What are any of the Ultra Beasts based on? Like, a muscle mosquito? Sure, bricks? Cables? Bees? Well, I'll tell you this, they are all a combination of invasive species and sci-fi alien tropes, and you can check out my explanations of all of them right here. Thanks so much for watching, subscribe for more Pokemon Origins, and never stop using your noggin.